All right, good afternoon, everyone. We have a special meeting of the City Council of the City of Cape May. We are here in the Cape May City Hall Auditorium. Today is Tuesday, March 4th, 2025. The time is now 4 p.m. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Under the Open Public Meetings Law, notice of this meeting was sent to the Cape May County Herald and the Press of Atlantic City. A copy of the agenda was delivered to each member of City Council and posted on the City website and City Hall Bulletin Board. Notice is hereby provided that City Council meetings are audio recorded and or video streamed live. Live video streams are posted to the Cape May City website. City of Cape May is not responsible if audio recording or live video streaming of a meeting is unavailable. Roll call. Councilmember Baldwin. Here. Councilmember Bodner.
Here.
Deputy Mayor McDade.
Here.
Councilmember Meyer.
Here.
Mayor Mullock.
Here.
City Solicitor Gillen Schwartz.
Here.
City Manager Dietrich.
Here.
Deputy Manager Riggs.
Here.
Deputy Clerk Turner.
Here.
We also have our Director of Civic Affairs, Casey Radigan.
Here.
Council, we have one resolution on the special meeting agenda, 10503-2025, a resolution for a meeting not open to the public in accordance with the provisions of the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-12. This is to discuss the 702 Beach Avenue lease and bid number 24-30, lighting replacement at Convention Hall.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Meyer,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor McDade,
Yes.
Councilmember Bodner,
Yes.
Councilmember Baldwin,
Yes.
Mayor Mullock.
Yes.
Public portion, Mayor?
Anyone here wishing to speak from the public on this resolution? Seeing none, we can close public comment and go into closed session.
Time is 4:03.
That's the next one. The chair is bad. It doesn't move.
It was looking at you pretty weird.
I'm going to sneak behind you.
Sorry.
No, you're good. So, Aaron, the price hasn't changed, though. No, just the units. The baby might be good with health. Okay. Yes, that's what I was just looking at. No, okay. As long as the price stays the same. I'll leave that.
Good evening, everyone. We are coming out of our closed session, which we do plan on taking action on some of the discussion that we had in closed session. Mr. Solicitor, could you give us an update on that?
So council discussed two items in closed session. 702 Beach Avenue lease, that's the lease for Mermaids, the Mermaids business, and the bid for lighting replacement. I think council anticipates addressing both of those during the regular session. I'll go over there'll be a resolution and amendment to lease for council's consideration tonight. I'll go over the detail of that when we get to the regular meeting discussion. And then I think council's going to address the bid lighting, which is a resolution on the agenda, and council will address that when we get to it, the regular portion as well.
Do I have a motion to close the closed session?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you. With that, we can open up our regular meeting of the City Council of the City of Cape May. We are here in the Cape May City Hall Auditorium. Today is Tuesday, March 4th, 2025. The time is now 5 p.m. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Under the Open Public Meetings Law, notice of this meeting was sent to the Cape May County Herald and the Press of Atlantic City, and a copy of the agenda was delivered to each member of City Council, posted on the city website and City Hall Bulletin Board. Notice is hereby provided that City Council meetings are audio recorded and video streamed live. Live video streams are posted to the Cape May City website. The City of Cape May is not responsible if audio recording or live video streaming of a meeting is unavailable. Roll call. Councilmember Baldwin. Here. Councilmember Bodnar.
Here.
Deputy Mayor McDade.
Here.
Councilmember Meyer.
Here.
Mayor Mullock.
Here.
City Solicitor Gillen Schwartz.
Here.
City Manager Dietrich.
Here.
Deputy Manager Riggs.
Here.
And Deputy Clerk Turner.
Here.
Council, I believe we have one addition and a couple deletions or tabling. So the addition being 11803-2025, a resolution authorizing an amendment to the lease for city-owned property known as 702 Beach Avenue to amend the list of items eligible for tenant improvement credit to be added to the regular meeting agenda.
Do I have a motion to add?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Meyer.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor McDade.
Yes.
Councilmember Bodnar.
Yes.
Councilmember Baldwin.
Yes.
Mayor Mullock.
Yes. Who got credit for that second?
It's a tie. We'll have to re-listen to the live stream.
All right.
And we have two resolutions that are being tabled this evening. We have, if I'm correct, council, please correct me. 11103-2025 is a resolution authorizing invitation for bid for tree trimming, maintenance, and stump grinding services in the city of Cape May. And 11503-2025, resolution awarding bid number 24-30 for lighting replacement at the Cape May Convention Hall, bid to Pichardo Electric LLC. Is that correct?
Would you like a motion?
Please.
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Meyer.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor McDade.
Yes.
Councilmember Bodnar.
Yes.
Councilmember Baldwin.
Yes.
Mayor Mullock.
Yes.
Any other additions or deletions, council?
Anything else, council? No? Okay.
Okay. On to Employee of the Month.
Okay, Employee of the Month. Paul, you want to take it away?
All right, thank you. So this meeting, we have our employee comes from the Department of Civic Affairs and Recreation, so I'm going to ask if Jessica Giddle could come on up here and stand up here while we talk embarrassing things about her. Congratulations, Jess. And are you going to take pictures? So here, you can hold this while we're talking. So Jess has really been, when you look at employee numbers, Jess has been around with the city since 1994. So she's been around with the city for quite a bit of time. She became full-time with us in 2021 and joined the staff. And I'm sure if you're up at any of the events at Convention Hall or any events around the city, you always see her at the event helping out and making sure things are Casey helping things, make sure things are running smooth and out there with the staff. She does a lot of work with We Play, Pelican Place, and the summer school, so, that day camp. So she's really involved with a lot of the kids' programs and just helping our youth in the community. And ironically, her husband is in the office, in the audience. He also works part-time for the City and Recreation, and they actually met back in 1994 while she was on the roller skating duty, and they actually met while she was working here. So, when they celebrated their 25th anniversary, the staff had a vow renewal to reenact their meeting time. So it was really good, and they do a great job for the city. And I just want to say, thank you so much for all the hard work you do with us here at the city.
Actually, wait, just in the middle, just in the middle. Oh, in the middle. All right, Mark, you can get in there.
Just going to tell you where to stand.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jess. Congratulations. Thank you. Yeah. I'll just echo those comments. I mean, Jess, you always bring a smile to my face when I see you, and our kids. I mean, so you're just so good with all of our guests, but especially our kids. You do a wonderful job, so thank you very much. Thank you. Okay. Thank you all. Have a nice evening. City Manager, any updates or old business?
Sure. I just wanted to touch on a couple of the resolutions that we have here on the agenda this evening. So Resolution 110, where we're looking to award the purchase of 400 benches for the promenade. We're starting, that promenade restoration project has been awarded. We're getting ready to start, and this is kind of part of that process, and we need to kind of get a jump start on getting those ordered. So we're getting them ordered now, and then we'll work on the rest of that program as we move forward later this year. Resolution 113 regarding the authorizing the grant proposal for Eastland Theater and AME Church. This is really just so that they can make an application for the work that they're looking to do as we move forward, making improvements on the inside, possibly constructing an addition. And this is because it's our building, we have to essentially co-sign that application. This does not appropriate any city funds for the project, and that they still have to go to HPC before they go to final process. So those steps would still have to be taken care of. And then finally, I just wanted to mention on Resolution 118, the one we added for mermaids at the end that we came out of closed session, just so the public's aware, we're adding the roof. We had a set list of items, and we're just essentially adding the roof as one of the projects that's able to be constructed on there. And I believe they've already received HPC approval for that process, and we're in the process of reviewing quotes with the RLC there.
Perfect.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, City Manager. City Solicitor, any updates or old business?
Nothing this evening. Thank you.
City Council, any updates or old business? Okay, on the ordinances for introduction.
Yes, Council, tonight we have 554-2025, an ordinance amending the city code to require covering of dumpsters in transit for introduction.
Do I have a motion?
I'd like to make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, looks like we have a public portion on this.
Not yet. This is just
Oh, on
for
resolutions
introduction,
only.
so, yep.
I'm sorry,
No worries.
first
We're
introduction.
Jumping ahead a bit, yeah.
Okay, any questions or comments, council? Roll call?
Councilmember Meyer,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor McDade,
Yes.
Councilmember Bodnar,
Yes.
Councilmember Baldwin,
Yes.
Mayor Mullick.
Yes.
And now public portions on the resolutions.
Public portion on the resolutions this evening. If anyone would like to speak, especially they're waving the hands already, come to the microphone, state your name and address for the record, please. Thank you.
Susan Tischler, 504 Washington Street, and Board President of Eastland Theater Company. So, Mr. Mayor, Deputy Mayor, Council, I'm so excited!
I was waiting for it.
Oh, my gosh. The renovations at the AME Church just take my breath away. And how lucky to have a contractor in Kyle Carter, I want to say publicly, who saw an old receipt and realized that it wasn't an old receipt, but a 134-year-old relic. And at Eastland, make hay out of that one. Thank you, NBC News. The resolution, as Mr. Dietrich said, before you allows Eastland Theater to apply for a New Jersey Historic Trust Site Management Grant. That would help us defray the cost of architectural fees, stage design fees, and other expenses which we will incur in our steps to repurpose this historic church into a performance space. I'd like to thank City Manager Paul Dietrich for his patience and accessibility in guiding us as the city wraps up renovations of Phase 1, which is their part of it, and then transitions us to Phase 2, where Eastland can reconfigure the space and make the AME Church our forever home. This resolution is part of that process, and we'd also like to thank our city solicitor, Mr. Gillenschwartz, for fast-tracking the resolution. I have to tell you that the grant writer said, don't worry if the municipality doesn't get the resolution in by the deadline. They never do. The deadline is April 24th. This is March 4th, so thank you so much, but only in Cape May would that happen, right? The support of City Council has been invaluable, and we would not be here without your support and offering us this wonderful opportunity. We're anxious to get into the church and offer programming which honors the Black community, entertaining productions which delight, films for the family, all designed to draw traffic to this revitalized neighborhood, which was once the heart of the Black community and for which we owe City Council a debt of gratitude. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan. Okay, anyone else on resolutions this evening? Jules?
Still slow.
Take your time.
Jules
Yeah.
Rouse, 1010 New York Avenue. Mr. Mayor, during the February 19th meeting, Stacy Sheehan asked what will happen to the dedicated beaches on the promenade. And your response is, we'll have to talk about that. Our city manager also said, we'll discuss how that program will be rolled out. He also went on to say that all the benches will be removed and new benches will be installed by the contractor. So much for discussion. As Resolution 110 this evening, 1103-2025, is a resolution to purchase 250 8-foot long benches at a cost to the city of $1,746 each, or roughly $436,000 and change. However, the resolution goes on to provide for approval for the state contract authorized to be $708,000 and change. This does not qualify as being open and transparent. Over a year ago, the bench issue was raised by City Council, and the public reaction was like a wasp nest being struck by a stick and knocked to the ground, and havoc erupted in the city, and the subject disappeared publicly until tonight. I think a little history needs to be presented. This is not just about beach seats on the promenade. It's part of our modern history. It all started prior to 2008 as a community-wide project with an overwhelming approval. Individuals, families, groups, etc., were offered the opportunity to purchase a bench by donating $1,400 to the city. They were able to select a preferred area along the promenade and to select the wording for a personal message to appear on a metal plate that would be mounted on the bench. The project was and is a continuing success. Over 360 benches have been installed as a result, and $520,000 has been donated by the citizens to do that. I think the first completed bench was installed in 2008. The benches have become a symbol for all participants to leave a creative historic remembrance. Those 360 benches have become a cornerstone where many residents, vacation owners, visitors, families, and friends, numbering in the thousands, gather throughout the years to pay tribute to those who they have remembered and memorialized by a bench. Many are devoted to their bench. To honor their affection for Cape May, and some are decorated to celebrate national holidays, weddings, birthdays, war veterans, friends, beach buddies, comrades, etc. Over the years, it has been a moving experience to witness the dedication ceremony of a new bench being installed. And I'd like to comment that having read many of the messages on these benches, there's even one where the employees of the city honored a particular individual and they bought him a bench, which is really, I don't know whether you've had the opportunity to read the messages, but they are unbelievable. I would appreciate an answer to a few questions. Are the benches city property, or do the donors have any proprietary right to have the benches returned? And what would that details be to complete this transaction? So that's the first question that I have.
The solicitor can answer that if he wants to.
I mean, they have to be public property. And there's a donation for that. And it's not, and think about how they're utilized, Mr. Roush. It's not, there's not like a little fence around the bench. Anybody, you and I could walk up and sit on any one of those benches. They're for the benefit of the public. But also there's that commemoration. But that answer would not be on like many other towns and federal buildings, and, you know, it has to be for the public, and those things have to be replaced at some point too.
But do they have any other rights to be able to say that if you're going to get rid of it, I'd like to have it back?
That was the plan that was presented over a year ago.
There was a resolution to that effect.
Exactly that.
That we would notify them and that they could come and get it. It
Is
was,
that still the plan?
Tonight, the resolution on the agenda is to purchase 400 benches. That's
400?
400 benches.
There was a typo. I forgot to mention that when it's 400 benches,
Same price.
same price. The total price is the same. There was just a typo in the quote and translated into the resolution. So it's 400 benches.
And we're doing this now because it takes, how many weeks?
16.
16 weeks upwards to get a bench in.
Will these benches be the same as what we have now,
Yes.
made up in Pennsylvania?
They're made, I don't know, because of the number that we're ordering and the timing, they're going to be made at 4 different foundries.
Okay.
So I can't say that they're made in Pennsylvania, but the company that we're buying them from is from Pennsylvania, yes.
Is it possible to leave the current benches in place and repair those that are needed? Or-
No.
I assume that's not the issue. What's the schedule to remove the benches? Has that
We
been
don't,
worked?
we just awarded the contract for that, and we've had a pre-construction meeting, and we have not had, the contractor has not submitted his schedule for it. We don't anticipate the benches being removed before the summer.
So they'll be there for the summer?
I anticipate that. I haven't seen the contractor schedule, but it's anticipated that we won't be taking any benches off for the summer season.
Okay, so the question is, what is the best and fairest action? If the benches are not available to the donor, can they receive the bench slat with their memorialized message?
Absolutely. Look, this, tonight, all we're doing is buying the benches. That we need to purchase the benches because there's a long lead time. We got a $7 million grant to refurbish the promenade, and frankly, I think it's going to look lovely and an important, not just look nice, but sustainability-wise, as anybody who goes by there can see, all the concrete is in very poor shape. All that's going to be fixed. It'll be resurfaced, and yes, eventually there will be new benches as part of the project. But that's all we're doing this evening. What we spoke about over a year ago was a large presentation, which I'm sure is exactly what we'd be looking at if we look at a bench program.
that hasn't been determined at this time, to be perfectly honest, because of the fact that we have a long lead time. That's what we're acting on this evening.
Okay, the benches and the important message on each are part of Cape May history, and as such, should, in my judgment, be recorded. One of the ways that this could be done is a project with the elementary school. If the kids could go up and make a rubbing on that particular message, I think it's very interesting to take a look at and read all the messages. Some of them are absolutely astounding. I mean, the effort that the families have put in to that particular project, I don't think should just be passed over.
It will not be.
In closing, I believe just trashing the current benches is disingenuous to the National Historic Landmark status Cape May enjoys.
That's not what we're doing. We're not trashing them. That's not, I mean,
What will the contractor be doing with them?
They're just removing them.
again,
Would-
I can't answer something I don't have an answer to. But I can tell you that over a year ago, when this was presented to the public, the opportunity for the person who purchased the bench was to take it home with them.
That would be great, but, at some point, this has to be laid out so that the public can understand what is available when, and whose obligation it is to do what, and to take it forward.
The benches will not be removed, to our understanding, until at least September, October. So we do have some time. I mean, I just want to make sure. And this will not be done, in the middle of the night or something like that. Believe me, we fully understand the importance of the benches, 100%.
Well, I think it's important as part of a National Historic Landmark city that we not just pass over the commitment that so many people made to these benches and how long they've been there and how many people use them. I think it's one of the unique things about the city. If you look at other places, they don't have the opportunity to pull up to the bulkhead, get out of their car, and go up and sit on a bench. I talked to one gentleman who was recovering from surgery, and he said, it's the only place I can go. I can get out of my car, I can walk up and get on a bench, and he said, I can only walk 5 benches. And he said, I wake my 5, and I sit down, and I gather myself together, and I walk 5 more back, 5 more down the promenade, and he said, I always have to remember I've got to return. But he said, this has been very, very important to me. It's just one little idiosyncrasy. I just think the benches, be happy to see how you're going to turn it around.
Can I respond real quick, Mr. Mayor?
Please.
And I understand your concern, and it's our concern as well. It is very important to us as well. We're just purchasing the benches at this point. We're in discussion over a lot of this at this point.
We fully, recognize when we presented this before, the emotional attachment, the importance of this to people, which is why we're just not prepared this evening to go into those details. We are grappling with trying to come up with a construct that is able to transition this and keeping all of the feedback that we've received previously in mind. So while I appreciate the emotion that you're presenting this with, please know that we feel the same way. So I think it's important that from a public's perspective, we are not just, to use the word, trashing anyone's bench. That it's not that we don't appreciate, understand, and know the messages and how important this is. It is just not that this evening we're prepared to go into that.
Okay,
We
thank you.
just, okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jules. Anyone else on resolutions this evening?
Raj Johnson, 826 Lafayette Street. When the plan is decided, will there be a presentation? Absolutely. Okay, all right, thank you.
Anyone else on resolutions this evening? Seeing none, close public comment and move to the consent agenda.
Council, is there anything you'd like to remove from the consent agenda this evening?
Anything, council, to remove consent? No? Okay.
So I do believe we should, based on that discussion, amend 11003-2025, the version that was put online. That is the bench resolution. The version said 250. The correct number is 400 units. Same price.
That's correct. Yeah.
If council would like to make that amendment.
I'll make a motion to amend.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Roll call on the amendment?
Councilmember Meyer,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor McDade,
Yes.
Councilmember Bodnar,
Yes.
Councilmember Baldwin,
Yes?
Mayor Mullock.
Yes.
And that is just to amend.
Right.
And I do believe we're just noting for the record that Councilmember Bodnar will be abstaining from the minutes dated October 29th, 2024, correct?
Yes, that is
Thank
correct.
you. All right, any other deviations from the consent? All right. We have a motion to adopt the consent agenda,
Do
Council?
we have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Do we have a second? Thank you. Roll call?
Councilmember Meyer,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor McDade,
Yes.
Councilmember Bodnar,
Abstaining on the minutes, yes on the balance.
Councilmember Baldwin,
Yes.
Mayor Mullick.
Yes.
And for the regular agenda, we have 11803-2023, a resolution authorizing amendment to the lease for city-owned property known as 702 Beach Avenue to amend the list of items eligible for tenant improvement credit.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any questions or comments on that, council? Roll call?
Councilmember Meyer,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor McDade,
Yes.
Councilmember Bodnar,
Yes.
Councilmember Baldwin,
Yes.
Mayor Mullick.
Yes.
All right, any new business, council? I guess
Pardon
city
me.
solicitor first.
Nothing tonight, council. Thank you.
City manager, any new business?
Just a few. I gave a handout to each one of you before the meeting that's shows the depiction of a location. We've been, out of the Bike and Pedestrian Safety Committee, topic has come up regarding the First Avenue pedestrian bicycle bridge, which could connect First Avenue out of Cape May City into West Cape May. And one of the commissioners over in West Cape May has kind of taken the lead on that and really trying to champion that project. And they have their engineer working on permit plans and conceptual plans, and have come to the city to ask, would we be okay with co-signing the DEP application? Because obviously it touches both our borders, so each of us would have to sign off on it. So I was bringing it here, and if you're okay, I'll work with West Cape May and the clerk and prepare a resolution for the next meeting authorizing the sign off on that. So it just kind of generally shows the location. It'll probably be a long span steel structure that would span the entire wetlands, so we won't have to have a wetlands impact touching the wetlands. Obviously, we'll be going over the wetlands, and then we'll have improvements on either side where we'll tie the roadway and sidewalks up to the bridge, and maybe have some benches leading up to it, and it's different amenities, but it would be really basic and simple. And we'll have that concept plan at some point moving forward for you to review.
That's great.
Real quick, the improvements on either side, so if we're looking at the Cape May side, are we responsible for the improvements on our side?
So, most likely it's going to be a cost share, between both communities. Once we have a design, we're probably going to approach Cape May County first to try to get open space funding. This would be considered, a bike, that one of their priority type projects are bike and pedestrian paths.
I think that's great.
So this should fit into their model to connect
Yeah.
the two towns. So, that's where we'll try to look for funding first, and then as we develop it, we'll look at what the cost shares are and what other grants will be available.
Okay, thank you.
I just want to say, the goal is to get pedestrians and bikers off of Broadway.
Broadway, yes.
Yep.
And
They
this,
could do it all the way up to Leeming, up
Oh, it
or
is.
up on Broadway itself, so
it
probably
really,
about a quarter mile that they don't have to ride a bike.
Right on Broadway, and that's dangerous.
and I just compliment to our bicycle and pedestrian committee, and obviously, Paul, you working with them. This is kind of one of the first proposals that we received from that,
Yep.
as a concrete proposal from that group. Of course, they're working with, I apologize, I forget the engineer's name.
GPI, Greenman and Peterson.
Yeah, on mapping the entire island, Cape Island. And this came out of that group as like one of the main priorities that, one of the thoughts was, this could work with the county and a partnership with the city. I think, as Councilman Meyer just said, getting people off of Broadway would be a big improvement for safety for pedestrians and bikealists. So I think it's a great idea. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.
Anything else, City Manager?
Yes. So MTRAC has been working for several years almost on short-term rentals and their impact on the community and I'll say, an accounting of them. Sarah Stevenson from Amtrak did a little more analysis over the winter and really showed some staggering statistics where upwards, I'll say our realtors, 15 to 20% of the current listings don't have mercantile licenses. When you look at Airbnb, Vrbo, upwards of 40% don't have mercantile licenses. We were fortunate to be able to find, I think, the company that kind of does the back end of research and tracking of online short-term rentals. They scour the internet and search thousands of websites nationally for this data, and they have the data back probably in the early, probably 2020 or even earlier. So they have granular data to the point where they know how many weeks that you have rented. They can identify your occupancy rate, your vacancy rates, all these different information. So we've issued a purchase order for that service, and we'll be utilizing that. I know the clerk's office is moments away from sending out mercantile renewals, probably within the next week, if not this week. But just to let council know, we'll be utilizing this service to, as we start getting mercantile license renewals in, we will have a verification method to verify all short-term rentals much more accurately than we've done before. So I just wanted to put that information out there.
One thing, having gone through the demo with Mr. Dietrich and Mr. Riggs, it's an amazing piece of technology, very well built. They're scouring 10,000 websites on a nightly basis, and they have a group of people doing QA on it. It's Google Earth pictures. It's some of the challenges that we've had before about an 08204 zip code location, not being Cape May City. All of that comes out of the equation. And so it's pretty, the information that it provides is tremendous. So it's being used currently at about over 400 municipalities throughout the country.
Yeah. City Manager, if I could just say one thing too to the public on this. This is an expensive system, but we believe that it's going to pay for itself. And this is my warning to the public right now. We will not hesitate in finding you. We're spending a lot of money for this technology. If we find that you are operating a weekly rental property without a mercantile license, we will not feel bad about sending you a fine. People are savvy enough to get it on VRBO and Airbnb. You should be savvy enough to have a mercantile license. So this is important, and just fair warning, we are absolutely going to be sending out fines to the maximum capability that we have.
And just, I think it's important, though, to stress, we're not doing this just to make money through the mercantile license process. It's important from a fire safety inspection
100%.
that we go in there and inspect the properties to make sure that the properties are safe. Not saying that they're not, but we need to do that inspection. So I think that's the more important thing. I don't want the public to think that we're doing this just so that we can collect the mercantile license and collect that fee.
We don't want to make any money on it. It's not within the budget as a revenue source, and we don't want it to be. But the fact is, some of the numbers that we're getting in and percentages are a bit staggering. And with that, look, if you don't have your mercantile license, get it.
Please get it.
Yeah. Thank you.
And then the last thing I just wanted to report on, I know Cape May Police and Lower Township Police put out I think a joint social media release this afternoon. Both of our towns were victimized with some graffiti at some of our restroom and park facilities. I think everybody probably saw it on social media. The great work for our detective, I think it was Detective Atkinson, led our detectives on this side working with the detectives in Lower Township. They have identified the 4 individuals. They're in the process of being charged and working with restitution and compliance. So that was a pretty swift and accurate, response. And I just want to thank our police and Lower Township Police for, being very proactive in that. Each of our communities spend a lot of money to provide facilities, and it's a shame that, people have to come in and just deface it just for a prank. And, and I do also want to thank Public Works, our Public Works Department, coming out and, responding quickly and cleaning it up and getting it back up and operational for the public's use. And that's all I had, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. City Clerk?
Yeah, just to touch on what Manager Dietrich said about mercantile licenses, for anybody potentially listening at home who might be a licensee, don't worry, we have not distributed the renewals yet. We are close. We are working with SDL to get them distributed. I'm hopeful by the end of this week, if not into next week. I am also hopeful that I will have a better update for you at the next meeting. So don't think that you didn't get it. We didn't send it yet, so bear with us, working on it. Thank you, Council.
Thank you. Councilwoman Baldwin, any updates?
Nothing tonight. Thank you, Mayor.
Councilman Bodnar?
Nothing tonight, thank you.
Deputy Mayor?
I just have a community center update. They have been working in the past week and a half on the flooring. The painting is done, the flooring is done. It looks fabulous. We did a walkthrough today. They're going to be finishing up some HVAC work so that the classes will resume back in there, hopefully after March 12th. The attendance for those classes keeps getting higher and higher each and every time. Very well received. I think when people are come back in to see the space, the way it's been upgraded, they're going to be really pleased. And then the rest of the programs that will be available in that space are currently in process with regard to ordering different components. So I'm hopeful that we've got sort of an outfitted and soft opening that's going to be sometime maybe in the May timeframe, but more news to come. But it's really an exciting opportunity for the community, and really pleased to be involved. And everybody's been working really hard on it. So take a class. They're really good.
Okay, that's great. Good news. Councilman Meyer?
Yes, Mayor, thank you. Last year, the Shade Tree Commission received a $20,000 grant to help, eradicate lanternflies and also their habitat, which is the tree of heaven. I, with the Shade Tree Commission, has designed a flyer that's going to go out to the next water bill.
Nice.
The purpose of the flyer is to help you identify the tree of heaven, and that's where we're going to try to spend a lot of, at least the majority of this grant money. We want you, as citizens of Cape May, to identify if you have tree of heaven in your yard. One, contact the city shade tree office. Let us know how many you think you have and where they're located. We're trying to take this $20,000 and help the residents with the expense of removing these trees. These trees have to be cut down and they have to be poisoned. And then after a number of months, then only we can take the stumps out. It's a long, expensive process, and that's where we're focusing our money. So on this flyer, you'll see a website or an email and a phone number. Please contact that office. Tell us about your tree of heaven situation, and it's around the time where you're going to start to be able to identify because leaves will be, starting to come out. And we hope to, by summer or early fall, have the list of trees and where they're located in Cape May, and then we're going to be able to allocate that money, kind of similar to the 50-50 program of the sidewalk. We'll inspect it, and then we'll help you pay for these invasive species. So look out for that.
That's great. Nice work, Councilman. I just have two quick ones. The first is on a resolution 117 tonight. This is a resolution that came to us from the county, but I want to say thank you to council for passing that. This is a resolution opposing the BPU's recent increase to our electric bills of 17%, and also opposing a additional 8% increase that's being considered in April. Obviously, we don't write state law. We are not the New Jersey BPU, but obviously these laws do affect us, and they certainly affect our citizens, especially those on fixed incomes. So I appreciate it, and also would just like to say, one of the biggest increases within electric bills, and I've gotten questions about it from residents in the city of Cape May, is actually the delivery cost. And obviously, I've looked into it a little bit myself, but I do think, we don't want to just be saying what not to do constantly. I do think we want to, I think most public buildings, especially in Cape May and Cape May County, should have solar. That's my personal opinion. That's not necessarily everyone else's, but I think, we have to look at how electric is being delivered. And one just minor detail that I'd share in researching this a little bit is a lot of the biggest electrical users are newer buildings within our service area, out there around Route 40 and things like that. A lot of like warehouse buildings, distribution centers. This is completely my opinion, but a lot of electrical use is going to these new buildings. And frankly, I personally feel like those buildings should be forced to provide their own energy. And they shouldn't be put first before the residents of little towns like the city of Cape May. That cost, that increase to these new users of electricity should bear that cost, not the residents of small towns within the electrical service area. Personal opinion, but I put it out there, and if somebody's listening, I hope they hear that. But this resolution will be going to the governor's office and the New Jersey BPU, of course, Cape May County, who asked us to sign it, as well as our first district legislators. And I thank them, Congressman Van Drew, for taking this issue on and really trying to protect their constituents. So thank you. Also, March 15th, 4:30 at the new library, Franklin Street, is a nice presentation. It's called From the Depths, the Ocean in Art and Industry. And a couple nice speakers will be there. The Columbia University students will be there that are working on our water plant. And they have a few guests within the fishing industry, so I think it'll be a really interesting conversation. Again, that's March 15th at 4:30 at the library. If you have a chance to take a look, come on over. It should be pretty interesting. With that, we'll open it up to the public. Anyone wishing to speak, please come to the microphone, state your name and address for the record.
Roz Johnson, 826 Lafayette Street. My question is to Mr. Dietrich about the quality of life group that you have. I was wondering, how often do you meet, and what topics do you talk about, things like that?
We meet once a month. It's
Okay.
an internal work group, and we discuss things such as traffic enforcement, a lot of code enforcement issues, looking at property maintenance issues, and those kinds of things.
Okay.
Those are some of the bigger topics. We also have been hitting on some of the fire code things. So we use that also as a roundtable to see what each individually office what problems we're seeing, and then what ordinances maybe we can address and help improve the quality of life of the residents.
Okay. I was wondering if, after you have those meetings, if once a month you could report to the residents about the meeting and what you talked about, and if when you do that, if it could be put on the agenda, so people like myself that read the agenda on a Friday would know that this is coming up and would make sure that the person would attend the meeting in case they had a question that had to do with the quality of life. Is that possible?
I can look at, I don't know if it's going to be helpful for every month, but I'll have some frequent updates to
Okay,
make a report. Sure.
And could you let us know on the agenda?
Yep.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you very much.
Okay, anyone else this evening? Seeing none, motion to close?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you. Thank you.
Time is 5:45.